Today we are going to study another topic in agriculture chapter. Contribution of agriculture to the national economy. Though agriculture is considered as the backbone of Indian economy, but it is having some merits and demerits. From 1951, its contribution to GDP has a declining trend. Uh, so agriculture is considered as a backbone of Indian economy, but its contribution in GDP has a declining trend from 1951. But in 2010-2011, 52% of its total labor force is from agriculture sector. So in 1951 we are having a declining trend in GDP as a part of agriculture, but in 2010-2011 52% of its total labor force it's from agriculture sector, that is an increasing we are having in that area. It means that more than half of the population in India, they are engaged in agriculture activities. From this, that means from 2010-2011 we can understand that more than half of the population in India, they are engaged in agriculture activities. But decline in agriculture has a tremendous problem in other sectors of economy because agriculture comes under primary sector, and if it has a great decline, it will affect the other two sectors like secondary and tertiary sector. So to overcome all problems in agriculture sector, our government decided to adopt many measures. So agriculture, it comes under the primary sector, and if it is having a tremendous decline, it will affect our secondary and tertiary sectors also. So to overcome all these problems, our government decided to adopt some measures to overcome these problems in agriculture sector or primary sector. They are: first, to start up an Indian Council of Agriculture Research, that is ICAR. Second one, to start up agriculture universities, veterinary services, animal breeding centers, horticulture development centers, research and development in field of meteorology and weather forecast. So once again, the measures taken by government to overcome the problems of agriculture sector is to start Indian Council of Agriculture Research. With the help of these councils, we can have new developmental programs in the field of agriculture, that is ICAR. New agriculture universities. With the help of these universities, we can have a lot of people having a new researchers and everything on the basis of this agriculture, and they can study a lot about agriculture also. Veterinary services, animal breeding centers, horticulture development centers, research and development in field of meteorology and weather forecast. All these our government started only with the aim to make development in the field of agriculture. With the help of all these, the GDP growth rate related to agriculture is increasing, but employment opportunities created by agriculture sector does not have any increase. So government want to have many new measures to have an overall development in agriculture sector. So with all these new measures, they can have an increase or a development in the field of agriculture. But when it is related to the employment opportunities in agriculture sector, it does not have that much of increase. So our government wanted to have an overall development in agriculture sector. So these are the main ideas included in this topic, that is contribution of agriculture to national economy. So next, another most important topic we want to study in this section, that is food security. That is food security, especially in India. We all know that food is the basic need of all living beings. If any segment of our population does not have access of food, then they are food insecure, isn't it? Food is the basic need of all living beings. So if any segment of our population does not have access to food, then they are food insecure. In some regions of India, this percentage is high, especially in economically less developed areas, because they are the first to affect all the natural calamities, and it leads to poverty and famine. Isn't it? The economically backward people, they are the first to affect all natural calamities, and it leads their life to poverty and famine, all that. So our government adopted two food security systems, which has two components. They are buffer stock, another one is public distribution system, PDS, to overcome the food insecure problems in India and to have food security to all section of people in our country. So first we want to know what is buffer stock. In this system, that means in buffer stock, storing of food grains by the government through its agency called Food Corporation of India, FCI, from farmers through minimum support price, predetermined price, especially like wheat and rice. So what is buffer stock? It is a system of storing of food grains by the government through its agency called Food Corporation of India, FCI, with the help of minimum support price for food grains like wheat, rice, especially for food grains like wheat and rice. It is known as a buffer stock. So now we understand that our government, through this system of buffer stock, they are collecting food grains from the farmers. Then they want to distribute this to the poor people. Then only we can overcome the problem of food insecurity in our country. So for that, they introduce another system, that is public distribution system, PDS. In this public distribution system, PDS, it's a program which provides food grains and other essential commodities at subsidized price to poor people in rural and urban areas. So what is PDS? It is a program through which the food grains were provided and other essential commodities were provided to poor people at subsidized price, in especially in rural and urban areas through ration shops. This is known as public distribution system. So in order to overcome our food insecurity problem, our government adopted two food security systems which has two components. One is buffer stock and another one is a public distribution system, PDS. Then India's food security policy has a primary objective to ensure availability of food grains to common people. And Food Corporation of India, FCI, is responsible for procuring and stocking of food grains, and PDS, Public Distribution System, is responsible for distribution of these food grains to common people. So India's food security policy has a primary objective to ensure availability of food grains to common people. Our main aim on the part of this food security is to make available this food grains to all common people. And Food Corporation of India is responsible for collecting, stocking or storing of food grains and through this buffer stock system, and PDS, Public Distribution System, they are responsible for distribution of food grains, and they are distributing this with the help of ration shops. Our government want more private companies to invest in agriculture areas, because now our land area for cultivation is decreasing day by day, and more farmers, they began to cultivate more horticulture and plantation crops instead of food grains. So it will affect our food security also. So what happened? Our government, they want more private companies to invest in agriculture areas in India, because now our land area for cultivation is decreasing day by day, and more farmers, they began to cultivate more for horticulture and plantation crops instead of food grains. So in future it will affect our food security also. The use of land for non-agriculture activities decrease in net zone area. What's net zone area? It's a part of the total area sown with crops is known as a net zone area. If we are using our land for non-agriculture activities like building houses, flats or many other things, what happen? Our net zone area is also decreasing. Then use of green revolution, all these leads to land degradation, water scarcity in our country. So our government, we are very much what curious about all these problems, and they want to find out a lot of measures to overcome all these problems and to safeguard our country and to have food security in our country long lasting. So the last topic we want to study in this chapter is the impact of globalization on agriculture. So we know that globalization, it creates both positive and negative impacts in all aspects of life. With the help of this globalization only, we are having some development in our country. Especially we are having some economic development. So this globalization, it creates both positive and negative aspects on agriculture also. In the field of agriculture also, it creates both positive and negative aspects. In agriculture also, it creates the same. During the period of colonization, we started globalization process in agriculture, especially in India. For example, our cotton textile industry flourished in Manchester and Liverpool with good quality cotton from India. So, during the period of colonization, when the Britishers are there in India, we started globalization, or they started the process of globalization in India by collecting our good quality cotton and just taking them to Manchester and Liverpool. As a result, they started the globalization process in India. From 1990 onwards, our agriculture sector can compete with other countries in the world as a part of globalization. As Green Revolution is giving a lot of importance in agriculture sector, but today it is facing a lot of problems because it creates water scarcity, land degradation, vanishing of biodiversity, all that. So in the present situation, apart to overcome the problems of Green Revolution, the future of agriculture depends mainly on a new idea, that is a gene revolution or genetic engineering, which includes new hybrid varieties of seeds, all that. So what happened as we adopt Green Revolution to produce a lot in our country for as a part of this globalization process, all that. But what happened is that we started with a good idea, but this Green Revolution creates a lot of problems to our country. So this Green Revolution problems can be overcome by adopting new methods. The first method is gene revolution or genetic engineering, which includes new hybrid varieties of seeds, all that. Another one which can replace the problems of Green Revolution is organic farming, which includes sustainability of development, better for environment. Sustainability development which is better for environment. Then no use of chemical fertilizers or chemical insecticides, pesticides, all that, and only using natural alternatives in their place, that is organic farming. Only using natural fertilizers or natural made seeds, everything for farming, that is known as organic farming. Then next is the changing cropping pattern. From Indian farmers, they decided to change their cropping pattern from cereals to high value crops like fruits, flowers, then vegetables, medicinal herbs, and biodiesel crops like jatropha. Biodiesel crops like jatropha and jojoba, because it needs only less irrigation than food crops or cash crops. By adopting all these methods, we can overcome the problems created by Green Revolution in our country. So how we can overcome the problems of Green Revolution? We can overcome the problems of Green Revolution by adopting genic revolution or genetic engineering and organic farming, adopting only natural alternatives in farming methods, then changing the cropping patterns from cereals to high value crops, which includes fruits, flowers, vegetables, medicinal herbs, and especially biodiesel crops like jatropha and jojoba. Because these two biodiesel crops, it needs only less irrigation than food crops or cash crops. So by adopting all these methods, we can avoid the problems created by Green Revolution in our country. So by this topic, this chapter agriculture is over. So please read your textbook very carefully. You are having map activity also related to this chapter. Do it very carefully, read the textbook carefully. Then I am giving you some worksheets and questions to write note. Complete it and send to your teachers on time. Thank you.